Okay, there we go. I fucked up the title the first time. But that's okay. Picture in pictures. There we go. And we'll stretch this out a bit more. Let's stretch that out to about there. Then what we'll do is... Okay, fuck it. Okay. Alright, in that case, minimize, put this right there, slide this over to the right. I think we're good to go. Oh, wait, hold on. I just remembered something. Gotta open up the old kick chat, just in case, because you never know. You never fucking know. Scroll down. That's already muted. Oh fuck! Yo, these margins on. You ever click the right corner of a window to get that little arrow that allows you to change the size of the window? I don't know why it's such a bitch. Oh, that's a nigga. Okay. About chat. Which means I can close this. Chat has popped out. And slide this baby right over here after we shorten the window. Shorten the window. Thank you. Shorten the window. And move the window over here. Motherfucker. Okay. Yeah, where we got some Vaush on HippyDippy. Yeah.
More perfect union. Here I am, the More Perfect Union. I sometimes stream on Twitch and other channels. I'm a constitutional conservative, aim of all leftist existence, and I'm glad to be here. By the way, it's nice to see that you managed to avoid getting shot. So
far, at least. Okay, don't count me out yet. So we've got a great show.
How's it going?
As much as I disagree with I don't want to see anybody get hurt.
It's going okay.
I'll be fine. No one's ever got hurt in the war. So
literally just started.
The first topic today, speaking of war, has to do with American aid to allies and whether the United States should continue to provide aid to allies. This, of course, is being about because of the over $100 billion aid package to, well, primarily Ukraine, also includes aid to Israel, also includes aid to Taiwan and some security investments in the Indo-Pacific region, primarily put there to counter Chinese naval expansion. My question to all of you guys is foreign aid a worthy investment from the United States? You can talk about any of these aid packages or any parts of the recent aid packages that you want to when talking about it. But of course, remember, we have short amounts of time, so try to keep things punchy, okay? And we're going to leave it to the room. Who wants to go first?
No, it's not my first stream.
Okay, alright, plain and simple. We can turn ourselves more with our borders our own.
I have no consistent stream schedule. I just stream when I can. And when life works out, I'll be able to stream
where you can make it clearly defined, alignment with our objectives and goals. As a nation protecting and protecting peace or democracies or fair trade, reasonable fair trade, I think that you can make a case for that. I think the Ukraine issue, while I'm generally supportive of anybody who is against Russia, I think the problem that a lot of people are starting to feel with Ukraine aid is that there's not enough oversight. The chances of the amount of corruption that exists within the government structure is still pretty.
I don't think that's a problem with Ukraine aid. I feel like people are like, we're fucked. Why are we helping other people when we're fucked? I feel like that's about the start and the end of it. Oh, I appreciate you. I appreciate the luck, and I appreciate you. Oh, well, no. I wish luck for you as well in all your endeavors. Why you got the sweat? Why you got the sweat with the emoji? Like something bad is happening. What do I do besides stream? I work, let's just say I work a lot. I work why am I going this far? I work 4 different jobs right now, and I hope that one day I won't have to anymore. I have a main Monday through Friday, something I do on weekends during the day, on Saturdays, something I do weekends overnight, and yeah. And Uber Eats every now and again. It's the wrong room. Yeah, I hope you get it. Most people that go around passing on happiness and blessings to other people tend to, at least that's what I would like to believe, these people tend to work out better and have happier lives. So, hope that's the case for you as well.
Significant, and there hasn't been a good accounting for it. So I think we need to have good controls over the audit process, regardless of whoever we provide aid to, and we need to make sure that we have a very finite, defined mission objective before we give anybody money.
Okay. Can we throw it to somebody who maybe takes a different perspective than these two? I don't want to just have all the same people agreeing
my
on it.
pleasure. Okay. No country is an island. We all benefit from global stability. International relations and diplomacy are a preferable substitute to war. There's no way to wall yourself off from the rest of the world. And so long as the rest of the world is a part of the one that we're on, we need to be concerned with its stability. Foreign aid is a great idea. We should do it. We should do lots of it. We should ingratiate countries to ourselves, make ourselves look strong. The shining city on the hill is good for America. It's good for everyone. Of course, you got to do it for the right reasons.
I always feel super weird about people offering that sort of thing, only because I don't have a consistent schedule, because I don't have like anything consistent going on at the moment. I'm not in a position to like fully dive into this right now. I don't have the time, and I frankly don't have the energy for it. Like, life is a lot right now. I've had other people send me a couple things, and they've added me on Discord. So if you want to do that, that's cool. But I am currently, especially with bills right now, I'm not in the market to do that right now. But I am certainly interested because half of this is presentation. If I don't have a good, like, I don't know, thumbnail, if I don't have good stream shit to throw up on the screen, no one's gonna really look at my shit the same way they would someone else who does. So what you have to offer, it's not like it's not valuable. It's just no, it's not that it's not that I don't believe you. It's more so, it's kind of like someone says, hey, would you like to start a business with me? And someone's like, well, that would be great. Having your own business would be like your way to financial freedom, but I don't have the starting capital. I don't have the time. So you can check Twitter. There are many shout outs of my work. I do believe you. Yeah. It's just, I'm just not in a position right now. Once I get to a point where it's like, yes, I stream 3 days a week from this time to this time every week. Like, so yeah, I wouldn't say I'm a streamer just yet, but more so I stream as a hobby at the moment. And when I become a streamer, I'll be able to do that. Yeah, that is my answer.
I think Israel's making particularly poor use of our money right now. But generally speaking, yeah, there's no way to just wall yourself off. The world comes crumbling down due to instability. That hits us too. So we got to be responsible stewards of the power we have, which is at this moment quite a bit.
It's very interesting. It's very interesting to see how socialists always have the same notion, where conservatives or libertarians or limited government types don't want the government to do something. And so the claim always becomes.
Usually, when someone is confident enough to offer their work to a stranger, it's usually pretty good. So. Yeah.
That, and this goes back, Hayek knows this, right? It's like, it's as if the socialist believes that we don't want to produce grain, right? The idea is a false dichotomy. It's a fallacious argument that Vaush is making. This idea that there is either we wall ourselves off from the world, or we spend money that is completely wasted in inefficacious ways towards foreign aid, which can be done better via charity and private industry, and by, as more perfect humans say, that if you're going to have a minimalist state, you can protect your trade routes and certain things of that nature. But this idea that we're going to spend hundreds of billions on corrupt nations that don't feed their people, and we just kind of do it year over year over year, or we're going to fund never-ending wars without any accountability or almost complete lack of oversight, to the tune of $500,000 for every upper middle class family, is absurd and stupid.
Okay. In Europe, we had something that we called peace dividend, which was when the Cold War ended. We assumed there would never be a large land war in Europe ever again. As a consequence, almost all countries here cut their military budgets, and then we either invested so much money into social development, social programs, or we cut taxes. And now we all have egg on our face. There's only very few countries in Europe that didn't cut the military spending, like Greece, Norway, and Poland. They don't have egg on their face. The brutal reality that we in Europe face right now is that we have to build up our militaries and our defenses again, that we have to be able to face off an aggressor country that wants to divide up Europe into spheres of influence.
Also, I'd like to point something out here. Can
we let Kraut finish his statement? Okay. Then we'll throw it over to Anarchy.
In this moment of crisis, we have no choice but to ask the Americans to send us weapons, because we don't even have enough of our own. Because we neglected the defense industry to such a point that it's proving difficult to gear up the factories again to make basic ammunitions. We're not just taking aid from the Americans, we're also taking from the Canadians, the Australians, the Japanese, the Koreans. The Koreans have been especially gracious, giving us 1 million artillery shells for the Ukrainians, and I want to point this out, the aid isn't money. It's literally physical shells, it's guns, it's tanks, stuff like that. And the only counter proposal I can make to this and criticize it is, yes.
That's true. I feel like people are very dishonest when they say, we're giving them X amount of money. Is it raw money? Like, imagine if I bought somebody a car that cost $20,000, and then you went and told people, yeah, Marcus is giving out $20,000. I would look at you as if you're crazy. Am I really giving out $20,000, or did I buy someone a car that was worth $20,000? Like, you wouldn't think it's worth mentioning that it's a car? Like, you was like, nope, whatever the value is, that's what it is. So if I bought somebody a house, I gave them, what, 200 grand? That's the equivalent of giving them 200 grand. Well, it's valued that much. Okay, well, you sound like an idiot.
we're currently taking aid, but we will be gearing up our own defense again. We will be coming back up on our 2 feet because it is very clear to us now that the peace dividend is over.
Right, I'd like to jump in quickly into this.
Quickly though, Anarchy, I did say Anarchy go next, and then we'll see what he says, and then maybe okay, go.
Okay, rather, I'm going to sort of be a bit testy, maybe it's just because I got the first thing in the morning, but I find it ironic about being lectured on the deliberate reliance on the government to do things, and how self-proclaimed anarcho-capitalists can't recognize what's called a good investment. You completely defanged the largest geopolitical threat in Europe, or at least heavily damaged it.
True, that is true. For all the people who are capitalists, investments don't have to necessarily be about money. You can invest in a relationship with someone, and that could lead to kids and owning a home together. You can, there's so many things of investment. You can invest in yourself, not even just money-wise, but like going to the gym all the time. You're investing in your own health for payouts in the future. Yeah. Why does it always have to be investing in another country? Could lead to positive outcomes in the future that you don't think are valuable because they're not in your face right now. All you see is a dollar amount attached to helping another person, but you don't see, oh, I want to trade with this neighboring country they have, and then they put in a good word for you. Hey, they helped us out. They're good people. You know what I'm saying?
You've rendered it completely incapable of challenging the United States in the world hegemon game, if you want to use the term, without a single American citizen who didn't volunteer for Ukraine directly dying, not a single active duty US military person beyond special operations we don't know about being deployed, and you've spent what amounts to just under 2% of your entire budget for 1 year. You've spent less than 20% of your discretionary defense budget to destroy something like 3,000 tanks, 5,000 APCs, kill 100,000 Russians, and you've done basically nothing. You've done nothing. In fact, you've saved money. The other big issue for me is, when you're talking about aid to Ukraine in terms of material aid, a lot of the weapons and stuff that the United States has sent have been from their reserves and stockpiles. You are paying people to maintain these. You're paying private companies to maintain these using government money. They are no longer needed to be maintained in those boneyards and those storage facilities, because guess what? They're out doing what they were built to do, which is kill Russians. Now, on the next side of things, you're going to need to replace that. Europe is going to need to replace all the aid.
I do want to say, just do try to tend to wrap it up because we have so many people.
Okay, in which case, let me put it this way. Long story short, all that money is going back to the private sector. Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, they're going to make a killing. They're going to employ Americans. And those Americans are going to pay taxes, they're going to spend money, they're going to buy shit. And that's going to stimulate the American economy. This is a net benefit on every level for the Americans, even if you take out all the other factors. It's just a win.
After Adam something, may I respond to this absurd tard attempting to explain economics?
Adam, I'm going to ask, you wait a moment, I'll have Fabian just directly respond to make it easier. Okay.
Yeah, it's super quick, right? So the idea that you attack the idea of an ANCAP being anti-war, to be pro-war for Lockheed Martin really shows you don't know what ANCAP is, but setting all of that aside, the idea that it is a good investment, that we can look at how much money is spent and then calculate it afterwards is, a very poor misunderstanding of economic theory. The market is the best way to allocate resources. The market is the one that has price control. The state cannot solve the economic calculation problem. The state is incapable of solving the local knowledge problem. And so that money is going to be wasted. And of course, it's going to end up in the coffers of Lockheed Martin, and no ANCAP or most Americans want that. And the idea that, oh, well, don't worry, it'll create jobs. I mean, that might work. Job creation might work on, 1980s and 1990s conservatives that would vote for this dumb idea of like, it'll create jobs, but it doesn't work on anybody.
Private economy enjoys when private corporations make profits.
Okay, so Anarchy, if you want to respond to that, we can give you an opportunity to respond, or you just go straight with Adam.
State money, but shut up. Like, such stupid.
No, it's a straightforward calculation. It's a straightforward calculation. The United States is spending, proportion to what it has, nothing. Absolutely nothing. It's barely spending anything because they're out of its total budget. And what it's generating in terms of geopolitical result, you're getting your money's worth easily. And yeah, sure, you can talk about the we've got photographs. We've got photographs.
Can I jump on this?
That's not how basic economics works.
Wait, okay. Adam something, I love you. I'm going to have Vaush quickly comment, then I'm going to you.
Just my handsome friend Adam something, my seed. Every moment but this one. If we're going to center the discussion, it should be on reality, not fantasy. Every country in the world is a state. Every country in the world's state manages its own resources, including war. The idea that the argument here would be about, what if the private sector did for it? What if the market decided? Shut up. Market decided. The system exists. We live in a global economy. Turns out corporations benefit from a state that protects them. The establishment system. The argument that I'm making is that you don't have one. What is this? Like, can you point to any place in the world where the state has
Wait, we only have some time. I'll finish this question, and then I'll give you Fabian. Sorry, 10, 50 seconds. Then I have to go out.
I'm feeling up my crystal ball right now, and I'm foreseeing 57 questions that are answered. But what if we let the private market do more in some abstract, nebulous way that's never been done because it doesn't work? I see everything to Adam something. Somebody with something interesting to say on the subject. No, I see it. I see it. Of course,
wait. I would give Fabian 10 seconds to respond. He gets 10 seconds to respond, then Adam.
Yeah, of course the socialist wants us to have more government. Of course the ANCAP wants us to have less government. Except I didn't make the argument from a non-government anarchist perspective. You just randomly said dumb shit to attack ANCAP because you have no argument.
That was point number 3 of 7.
All right, so Fabian sounds a bit like those like Twitter tanky lefties but he just uses marketing stuff like a communist manifesto or something. It's pretty funny. Anyway, so I'm on it. Okay, so just be patient. So the arguments for supporting Ukraine, for example, from the pro-business perspective, I mean, I think it's a no-brainer, right? So one of the main export materials of the U.S. is security and stability, which the U.S. accomplishes through its military. And this, of course, has a number of easy-to-see positive business effects. Peace and stability, turns out, is good for business. It is good for investment, right? This is a no-brainer. Also, the Ukraine war just happens to be a great advertisement for the U.S. weapons industry. When you see those thousands of Russian hardware burning, just like torched by not even top much U.S. hardware, but like just like 20-30-year-old stuff. That's great for the U.S. economy. Now, you might be salty about the fact that I don't know, Raytheon or whatever are like very heavily state adjacent / these like mammoth corporations. But that's how the economy works. Currently, that's how you achieve growth. So if you're not some unless you're some kind of degrowth weirdo, then you should be happy about this, right? The other thing is weapon aid. One second, weapon aid. When they say, okay, we sent Ukraine $5 billion worth of aid, that's not $5 billion. That's $5 billion worth of aid calculated based on the pre-existing stuff that you guys send them, right? So if we send them like 500 M113 APCs or something, well then that's calculated into a dollar based number. Even though those vehicles, they have been used by the US military before, they've been retired, they have served their time, and now you're just passing them off to someone. That comes
comes out as a monetary item on a budget sheet. Meanwhile, in reality, it doesn't really mean an actual expense.
Okay, sorry, wait 1 second. I need to take a pro-business position as well. HippyDippy has made one change financially, and that is in between topics. The #1 donor between topics will be able to ask the cast one question. If I'm going to bring back HippyDippy and herd these cats, I'm going to make money. I'm demonetized, okay? Continuing, I want to go over to, I'm sorry, Fabian, but you got a lot of back for the lecture fan gets to talk, lecture fan, and then Kraut and have it be written, don't worry.
Well, I mean, I think this whole discussion is kind of missing the main point. I mean, Vaush started off by saying, oh, foreign aid, good, it can be good. And it's like, well, yeah, we've always done foreign aid. People always forget the entire reason we even have a federal government is to handle military foreign policy. But of course, nobody addressed aircraft Sparky's perfectly reasonable point, more perfect union's perfectly reasonable point. And so you're just glossing over these points where it's like, oh yeah, foreign aid, good. But it's like, we're broke for one, we don't have any money. Number two, everybody sort of agrees with that. And the Australian guy, Anna Markey, was perfectly correct to say it's a drop in the bucket. We spend $100 billion on Ukraine. We spend over $6 trillion on a federal budget. So it is a drop in the bucket. But you've got a problem here where we're broke. There's inflation out of control. We don't have our own border secure. So you can say that foreign aid is good. And I support foreign aid when it can be afforded, when we can pay for it, when it benefits United States national security, when foreign aid can be used to establish and prolong American military dominance, economic dominance, cultural dominance. So foreign aid can absolutely be good. But you're simply not going to get it with a GOP Congress, which we have right now, if you guys don't address the border and you left this, oh yeah, great, yeah, more foreign aid, and let's just leave the border open and let's not do anything to try to balance the budget. That's a loser argument.
How is the U.S. broke? Can you liken us, please?
Yeah, we're $34 trillion in debt and we're running.
I've heard so many mixed things on the border. I've heard it's open. I've heard that it's not open, and that it's just weird laws on the books to allow people to like stay at the border and like not stay at the border, but like here's a court date for you, and then you just release them into the country, which feels weird. Like, but there should be, if I could do it, there would be like a bit. Let's say like there's a court date, right? What I would do is I would have a building that would house illegal immigrants. But that building would be like within like a bus stop range of the court. So that way we have a good eye on where the illegal immigrants are. They have easy means to where it's like, if you don't show up for your court case, you have absolutely no excuse. It's down the street. The fact that you can't plan, if you really wanted to be in this country, you would be able to plan better for it. And if you can't, then that's on you. But I feel like the reason why people wouldn't like that is they do some bullshit like, oh, you're housing immigrants, and illegal immigrants, and it's just like, okay.
$2 trillion deficits every year in Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security are going bankrupt in 8 years, if you didn't know.
I just wanted to comment on the idea that we should let the markets decide which country deserves military aid and which one doesn't. There was a time in which that was actually legal and permitted. Before the First World War, corporations, companies, you name it, could go out there into a conflict zone and decide, hey, we want to support this certain party in a war because we want that party to win. There's a very famous example of this. The British textile and cotton weaving industry bought a warship for the Confederacy, wanted the Confederacy to win the Civil War because slavery was very profitable for their industry and they wanted to keep the profits of that. Another example is not so famous.
And the French helped us in the Revolution. Like, what the fuck is your point?
A group, well, the French were a government, another corporation. A group of Wall Street bankers gave huge war loans to the Japanese in the Japanese-Russian War because they wanted Korean railroads concessions. When you let
massive corporation wars, how I Smedley Butler.
When you let markets,
you calm down a bit, right?
The decision to support a country, a conflict part of the war, is not a market decision. It is a political decision. It is a decision based on values, a decision based on ideas and what you believe in. If you let the market decide which side in the war deserves support, they will pick the side where they can get money out of. Who's to say that the corporation would not support Russia in return for like oil drilling and mining concessions in Siberia?
Also, wait, like, isn't Russia supposed to be like the nightmare of fucking anarchists? Like Russia basically like stole hundreds of jets when the sanctions hit. Like they just like appropriated them, they appropriated West.
Fucking like Russia.
Yeah, sure.
And I love you guys. We only have
so much time left in this round. So I want to make sure that Adam something gets to finish his statement, and then we get to anybody that has anything left they want to quickly get out.
So Fabian has this nice play behind him saying property is liberty. Well, then Russia has violated the #1 golden rule of ANCAP-ism, I guess. Property, they stole Western property, they just appropriated everything. So now,
I don't like Russia.
Yeah, good. So therefore, you should be in support of sending Ukraine aid because then we're
retarded.
No, it's not really. I mean, if you think it's better, then the problem is in your device, dude.
One thing, not liking Russia doesn't mean I have to support stealing money from the American people. That's what I want to bring up. One point I want to address: the unaccountable weapon transfers and corruption. Like guys, like every piece of equipment that gets sent to Ukraine is documented really solidly, and we know where those are. Like it's not just like you're sending stuff into Ukraine, it disappears. It doesn't work like that. Actually,
I want to add.
Okay, quickly. After Vaush goes, I want to make sure. After Vaush goes, you go MPU and Sparky because they've been waiting for a little bit.
Can I go quickly?
I just want to say really quickly with respect to like it's a tough job, Billy.
Yeah, sorry, I was only crowding your Russia to continue.
Right, the hall monitor pass. Yeah, with regards to the previous topic, it's worth noting that the crisis we're currently having at our southern border is in large part a product of instability that we've either ignored or facilitated in Latin America. Our drug policies and the policies that we've had since lessening it have contributed to the rise and strength of the cartels, the instability in Latin America, a large part of foreign intervention, or at the very least complacency on our part. Likewise, the refugee crisis in Syria, direct product of our meddling. Everything that happened with Assad and his government, his predecessor, we had a lot to do with that. Now, that's not to say that we deserve any. Hold your horses. No, you're learning the wrong lesson. The correct lesson that wise people take from this is that the affairs of other countries and their well-being reflect on our well-being. We're not an island. So if countries near us are prosperous and wealthy, we don't worry about refugees from Canada, do we? So what we should be concerned with is global stability. If we really are that great, and I, as a lover of America, I think we are, then we should try to see the world through. Make it a better place than it was when we were founded. Try to ensure, for our sake as well as theirs, that when changes are made, they're for everyone's betterment. Because if other things go poorly, if other countries fall apart, we do pay a price for that, both in the stability of our markets, the stability of our borders. We need to be concerned with their well-being, at least for selfish reasons. Now, humanitarian reasons I think are also pretty valid there, but if you're only concerned with the selfish ones, that's something that you should take in consideration.
Global stability, good. We agree. Global stability is good. We agree on that.
MPU, I believe you've been waiting for quite a while.
Yeah, so I think Vaush would like to, give the world a Coke and teach us all how to sing.
Sure, people will agree with that, and like, it's one of those things, people will agree with that. Like, yeah, global stability is right. Okay, how much should we have to contribute to that global stability? And then a conversation immediately changes. So it's like, yeah, sure, it's important, but like, do people treat it that way?
The problem with the southern border is that we have laws on the books that regulate immigration. Those laws are being violated by non-government agencies who bring people across the border. They coach them on how to say that they have a credible fear or threat. They're economic migrants, and they're not asylees, right? They're not asylum seekers. They're not valid asylum claims. 98% plus of the people who come across the border, the southern border, who are from Latin American countries, are not valid asylum seekers. And then on top of that, we have hundreds, if not thousands, of people who have come across the border who are known they're known to be affiliated with terror organizations. We have tens of thousands, I don't know. I think there was a Hamas person who tried to come through the northern border just like the last few days.
I like that one down.
Okay. There's there are single Chinese men of military age, okay, who are coming through the southern border. You basically just have to get to Mexico, and then you basically can get into the United States for free, right? And then there's they're not even doing DNA testing. What?
What does this? Where are you getting these figures from? Like 98% are economic migrants and not asylum. Like, where are you getting those? Did you get it on Facebook or something?
No, 98% of the people who go through asylum. This is what the federal government puts out. Okay.
Are they either? Is there either such a giant crisis?
I'm gonna have to put on this. I got to put on this because the time has ran out, and we do have a bunch of people waiting. Obviously, we're going through a bunch of people today, so I do need to do the 2 kicks. And I have gotten who is being kicked this round. So I'm going to throw it out there. And I'm very sorry, Anarchy. This round, the judges have decided that you've been eliminated, probably because of your Australianness. They are slightly bigoted. I am very sorry. I hope to see you next time. You have a good one, okay, man?
Fair enough.
Okay, bye-bye. Bye-bye. I love you. We're going to play Hell Let Loose later. Bye.
Be well.
And the other one is Sparky. I'm very sorry, Sparky. You were thrown over the top rope.
So Sparky made the best point. Sparky, you made the best point of anybody on this topic, by the way.
I got to talk the least. That's okay. Thank you for having me. Have a good night.
Okay, you have a good one, man.
Open.
Yeah, he did have the balls open, and I do respect that. I just want to put that out there.
No, that was good. That's respectable.
By the way, apparently the judge told me it wasn't an easy decision. They liked everybody. Okay, so we're bringing in 2 more people. It is going to be Chud Logic and Alex Stein. If any of you are familiar with Alex Stein from his AOC antics or his new show that he has. By the way, if anybody wants to get the mid-portion questions, you donate now. Large donations will be coming up after the next break. We'll be asking the guest today those questions submitted by the viewers. Now we're going to continue where we left off. Who wants to pick us back up?
Oh, same topic?
Yeah, same topic, but quickly, I'll have Chud Logic.
Okay, let me cut to the chase. Okay, it's all boring foreign policy shit. Okay, Dylan, right? Very rich that you come up with this topic, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When allegedly you went to Ukraine on Ukrainian dime to run through Ukrainian pussy. Answer to that.
True. It was pussy, actually.
How many wars have you run through?
Progressive.
I lost count, of course.
Okay.
Dylan's been running through those war widows like a goddamn racer.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, your house got blown up. Come on my place. You can stay here for a little bit. Don't worry about it.
Thank you, Chud Logic, for coming, and thank you, Alex Stein, for coming on today. So who wants to actually pick this back up?
No, I mean, I think that's a fair point, that foreign aid has only become a controversial topic because conservatives have pointed out how hypocritical and preposterous it is to spend hundreds of billions on other countries when we have a wide open border. That's the only reason this is controversial. The United States has utilized...
Yeah, but it just seems like in every other sense, conservatives don't want to spend any money on anything here. Ever. Because it's like every time I heard conservatives talk about spending money domestically, all they see it is, you're expanding the government, you want the government to be bigger, you're expanding the government. It's like, okay, so just say you don't want any government spending. Just keep that same argument when it comes to foreign shit. Instead of talking about, well, we have this problem here, y'all don't want to spend any money. So which means whatever solution y'all have with the border is not going to include any money spent, right? Because that would make the government bigger, right? So why is money why are we even talking about it? Because the amount of money we spend elsewhere, it's not going to affect any ideas that you have, since you don't want to spend any money on anything anywhere. So who cares, right?
foreign aid for our benefit, to do what's best for America, to serve our interests, to promote American value. We've done that for decades, for centuries. It's been fine. The only reason it's a controversy now is because the Democrats and Joe Biden and all these leftist organizations have a wide open border, and More Perfect Union is 100% right. These are all fraudulent asylum claims that the system's being abused. These NGOs are training these people how to file fraudulent claims. Joe Biden's administration, the Democrats, literally just gave one of these fraudulent asylum claimants a court date in 2030, and they're not going to show up. And when they do show up, 98% of them get denied, and then they're here and they've got babies and everything else. That's the only reason this topic's even a controversial topic right now.
Hey, I've got a quick question, by the way, Lecture. No, sincere question. Lecture, if it was possible, so we spend a lot of money protecting our southern border as it is. If it was possible to to spend that amount of money investing in a variety of Latin American countries, Mexico, Colombia, whatever else, and in the long term, say in 5 to 10 years, the money that we invest in foreign aid, that we give them in foreign aid, could contribute to the betterment of conditions in those countries to the point where they don't really have that many migrant trains coming up on north. We could make them want to live in their countries. If that could be done, would you prefer that? Do you think that'd be a good run forward?
Sure. That's a good question. If we could just fix it, so if we could put foreign aid out there to make it so that their shit was in order and they wouldn't be coming up here, we wouldn't have to worry about a border issue because no one will be wanting to come up here. Okay.
I just don't think that can be done. That's been tried. We've been trying to help those countries. And it's not just the Latin American countries that are in these. We have people from over 120 different countries crossing our border just this year alone. So if that was possible, if we could do that and we get a wonderful, wonderful result, then who wouldn't support it? It's a wonderful result. There's no more illegal.
I won't.
I just have to throw in.
I won't. It's really weird that you guys you're just two different socialists that want to spend the American dollar on different things. How about we just end the drug war and then the cartels and so much of the crime that is in many of these South American countries.
Hold on, I want to end the drug war.
And we can have stability by just not violating people's rights. You don't have to spend $1. You can just stop violating people's rights, and you'll save money and stabilize South America. Can we just do that without spending everybody's money?
We're starting to go a little bit off topic, but I am interested to see Lecture respond to that, just because I'm interested to see the two conservatives go at it over the drug war. We're conservative on that side.
Fabian's saying that I support a bunch of government spending. It's like, no, I believe in across the board massive spending cuts at the federal level, massive spending cuts to where we're running a surplus. You're saying, oh, you support the United States government doing the number one thing it's supposed to do, which is military and foreign policy. Oh, you're a socialist. How stupid.
Okay, so I got to throw this over to the people waiting. So first one over to
support a portion of the
stop. Please. Socialist. Sorry, I gotta make sure we have enough time for everybody. Kraut, you've been waiting a bit. I also have Adam, MPU, and Alex. I put you on the list because you just haven't done anything yet.
Okay, Britain is currently going through a cost of living crisis, the West since the 1970s, as well as a migration crisis as well. Poland went through a constitutional crisis in the last few years. Italy is going through a migration crisis. Lots of crises politically across Europe, cost of living crisis mainly. Lots of issues to deal with. Yet still, despite these crises, we've all somehow found the political will to also provide military aid to Ukraine. When figures on the American far right say that they want to condition military aid to Ukraine upon something border, it just doesn't come across as sincere. It comes across like an excuse, as if they're just deliberately attaching something completely non-related to an issue. It sounds like an excuse.
There's no American far right representation. Please stop.
Are we talking about the border? So we're talking about the border crisis?
We were talking about how Ukraine is tied to.
I also don't see how they're the same. Is there like a Mexican army invading Texas, annexing people?
No, guys, listen, I live in Dallas. No, I live in Dallas, and what's going on is a lot of sex trafficking. I see a lot of children that are actually, their parents are paying money to the cartel so they can come over here. So this is a business. This is not like, oh, just fuddy-duddy, I'm a refuge, my country stinks. As a matter of fact, you can even go look up the trucks that are full of a lot of these people because they come across the border with nothing, but they pay other coyotes to actually carry some of their belongings across the border. So this is a planned invasion by the cartel, the most powerful mafia group in the world, here to destabilize America because look, Japan doesn't have this problem, North Korea doesn't have this problem.
Japan's doing great right now, that's true. Model of economic and social success. Yeah, they want more immigrants and they might actually have a chance.
Really behind this trafficking.
Wait, stop. We need
Japanese. They're angry.
Wait, I'm gonna start muting people. Okay, that was the first one I muted. It was Chud. I'll start muting everyone else. I chose Chud first because I know he can take it. Okay, Alex, I want to let you finish your point, and then we have people on a list to go to. I want to make sure we get to Adam and MPU, but Alex, I want to make sure you get to finish your point uninterrupted.
Well, and just to Vaush real quick, I would just say that the culture in Japan and the safety and a country like South Korea or North Korea, I believe, safe if you're not getting killed by a dictator. I'm just saying there's other countries that don't just allow every Nigerian ex-rapist into the country. And if you think that's a joke, there are literally people here that have been convicted of rape that are coming across here that don't have to go through any sort of paperwork. Yet if I wanted to leave, I have to have my passport. I just went out of the country to Mexico. I just spent 4 hours in customs nearly. So I'm just saying, why do I have to do all that? They don't have to be vaccinated. They're just held to a different standard than an American citizen. So what's happening is a foreign invasion.
Wait, you guys vaccinated?
The best argument for why someone who's a immigrant wouldn't have to be vaccinated is because depending on where they're coming from, you could only use this argument. I don't believe anyone on the right making this argument because they were talking about how vaccination shouldn't be forced. If I don't want to be vaccinated, I shouldn't be. So if you come across anyone at the border that's not vaccinated, you shouldn't give a fuck because you didn't get. I don't understand. The disease doesn't know who's an immigrant or it doesn't. It just transfers between people. So if your point of view is if someone's not vaccinated because they don't want to get the vaccine, who cares? So if someone comes across the border and they're not vaccinated, who cares? It doesn't make the disease different because they're not. That's the first thing. And secondly, it's only an argument out of hypocrisy to where you could only use that argument against left-leaning people that think there should be forced vaccinations or everyone should be vaccinated, yet they're allowing people in who are not vaccinated. Your whole argument is based on hypocrisy, not based on what's actually best for the country. So, okay.
Can I ask you, Alex?
What are you complaining about?
Wait, let me throw.
You're saying nobody lost their job or nobody couldn't travel without
You just said they don't have to be vaccinated like you were whining you had to, and it turns out you haven't. So what's the issue? You're
exactly.
Now we're arguing semantics. I'm just saying at one point you know that it was an obligation to.
Now we're arguing epidemiology, actually.
It's calling you a hypocrite.
Can we not go? Can we not go?
They don't have a passport. Why do I have a passport?
Let's be clear. The topic is let's bring it back over to this being tied to Ukraine. I wanted to throw this back to the people on the list. I want to throw it over to Adam. What do you think about the idea of
also with Israel?
Yeah, well, that was also
forced it to
We're getting to Israel.
You tied to Israel.
This is important.
So I'd like to meet him again because it's fun. Add something. You're on the list. You've been waiting. I wanted to make sure you got a chance to speak, and then we should move over to Israel and Gaza and talk about that a little bit. But of course, I made it Ukraine because I can. Adam.
Right, sure, thank you. So, Alex, first off, how's Russia doing in NATO? You know, I've heard you.
I joined a long time ago. And first of all, let me tell you something. I'm the smartest pimp on the panel. I'm the smartest pimp on the panel. So yes, yes, I've misspoke before. I'm misspoke, but I'm still the biggest pimp here. Yes, I'm the biggest pimp here.
Also sex traffic?
I am. I got these photos on deck.
When he said he saw the trafficking in Dallas, like he was seeing from like a first person, like he was actually doing.
As a customer,
working together to beat the cartel.
All right.
We only have so much time. So Adam, now that you're done knocking on him.
Okay, so just to quickly address some points. So Japan is not a good example in terms of immigration, or Korea. Both those countries are dying as we speak. Right. So let's bring it up. Also, so anyways, and like I noticed that like our sort of opponents, like people on the right here, like their arguments are basically just variations of distilled boomer Facebook posts. So that's very disappointing. Otherwise, in terms of the immigration and the southern border, in terms of America, like as a European, I just want to share like a quick few lines of a banger song that I recently. It goes, "Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled messes, yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these homeless tempest dust to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door." I think it's a great song, but like I don't know why.
Took that Frenchie statue.
Yeah, I know, right? So like, so this is a contradiction for me from my perspective, because like America is all about land free, go there, you can make it. Meanwhile, conservatives are hell bent on turning America into this like little walled garden sort of white majority sort of.
Now we don't have. Wait. I want to make sure this goes to MPU because he wants to talk and he's been on the list for a while. And then I'm going to throw it over to Chud because Chud has started a protest movement in my chat about being muted. So I want to make sure he gets recognized as an oppressed person. So
Chud, hashtag free Chud.
Yeah, how have I not been muted? But Chud has twice. Like, that's just not fair.
So yeah, to kind of get to your point, America has probably the most generous immigration policy of any country on the world. If you step across the border without permission in Mexico, they lock you up. Okay, that's it. You get locked up. Okay, we have over 1 million people enter this country through a legal process. And we have, under the Biden administration, close to 8 million thus far illegals that have crossed, many of whom are convicted felons. They've been deported once, twice, 3 or more times. Okay, and they're still coming across. And the president or the current administration has done nothing to quell that tide. They just simply make it easier. They made an app making it easier for people to come in, and then they just simply change the terminology around so these people can have quote unquote legal status while they're waiting for up to 10 years, as Lecture Fan put out a few minutes ago. The cartels. This is not about the war on drugs, Fabian. With all due respect, I get where you come from as a libertarian, that there's no real federal rule or federal control for drug policy, or they shouldn't. That's your take, right? But the problem is that the cartels are making as much or more money.
Varied analysis. I'm not a boomer con.
I don't care. Okay. The point is that the cartels are making as much or more money trafficking in human bodies, okay, than they do in drug sales, right? So let's just put it out there. If we build up South America.
Nothing like a nice human body just to get you right on a weekend.
It's not going to keep it. Do you deny that because the problem would be lessened? Do you deny that the problem would be lessened if we stop the war on drugs? Yes or no?
No, I don't think it will.
Okay, so before we devolve into the war on drugs,
make the exact same amount of money.
I just wanted to say
the cartel make more.
Before we delve into the war on drugs,
the cartels.
Wait. I'm asking you both to wait. We're delving into a totally separate topic now, and I want to make sure we pull it back a little bit. And Chud has been waiting. He says he's oppressed. I want to give him a platform as a progressive. I give oppressed people platforms. Chud, what do you have to say?
Well, I tried to make it about Ukraine, but Dylan wasn't interested in exploring it.
Israel.
I invite you to make your conclusions about that. Well, no, actually about what's going on in Ukraine, but that doesn't matter. The only thing I wanted to say, maybe this can kick off the Israel conversation. Why is it that America needs to give money to Israel? Because surely the Zionists are, more on top of that already, surely.
Oh, that's an easy question because Israel's the most legitimate country in the Middle East.
We should get the cartels to give them the money.
They're our best ally. They've been the most wonderful ally. They help us fight terrorism. They're the indigenous people of that land, subject to horrible radical Islamic extremism. You've got Americans that were captured by Hamas. Israel's our best ally. They're one of the greatest countries on earth. Full support for Israel.
How the do you maintain we shouldn't be giving money to Ukraine? But then you
Lecture Fans in favor of Ukraine as well.
Okay, so
I'm in favor of balancing. I'm in favor of balancing the budget, and then once you balance the budget, then you can send it to Ukraine.
Okay, but you don't need to do that first to send money to Israel? Like Israel special or something?
I do think Israel's different from Ukraine, and I'm so proud of the Republicans, the conservative movement. The conservative movement has come out strong in support of Israel, despite the non-support for Ukraine. And I think there is a difference between Israel and Ukraine, and I'm so happy to see the Republicans and the conservatives.
It really makes you wonder if the current immigration thing was actually not an issue, and it's just a way of avoiding the actual topic,
Obviously.
Yeah, it's always a proxy issue. It's like when they say, like, we need to...
Can I ask that around the room? Do people think that the tying of immigration to the foreign aid bill is about solving immigration, or is it about killing the Ukraine-Israel aid bill?
It's about neither. It's about fucking politicians and dumb conservatives that follow their coattails on Twitter instead of actually thinking for a goddamn moment. And politicians just want something to browbeat and beat their chest about. It's like the idea that these two things are the same in this giant complex budget is ludicrous. It's a way to get to go, why are we spending money over there when we should be spending money at home? And it's like, or we could just stop spending money on shit that makes the problem worse. But
I have actually a nice theory about this, by the way. I have actually a nice neatly packaged theory. Let's see what you think. So the GOP seems to support aid to Israel unconditionally, basically, and they seem to drag their feet on Ukraine, right? They try and get to border stuff. So since the GOP has been getting more and more far right, so on one hand we have Israel, which is led by a far right government, aiming to ethnically.
That is a little weird. Like you're gonna have to come up with a really strong argument. If you're against, it'd be one thing if you're like, I'm against all or reducing foreign aid as much as possible, regardless of if it's Israel or Ukraine. Okay, at least that's like, you know, it's consistent. You can argue for that. But when you're like, I feel like we should 100% give as much money as we can to Israel. But like, I'm gonna hem and haw over Ukraine. But it's just like, I don't know how you can do like obviously the situations are different. But like, someone's being invaded. A sovereign country is being invaded by a long-time historical enemy of the United States. Should the United States come in and help? If the answer is no, just like, okay, fine, you don't want to help. But just like this other country who, like, yes, I guess they're an ally, but it's just like, maybe because Hamas isn't a actual, like, country. It's more so like people within, they're more like a terrorist group. So it's just like, it's going to be treated differently, but like, I don't know. It just feels weird. Like, these are both bad. There are people that are getting hurt in more than one area of the world, and we're just gonna be like, well, fuck it. Who cares about this one area? That's what it feels like. Maybe I'm just too naive, though. Who knows?
Plans they go the strip and create an ethno-state inside Israel, as it's been happening on the West Bank, for example. And on the other hand, we have Ukraine, a liberal democracy fighting against a similarly far-right invasion force, a traditional, sort of very far-right, traditional conservative, secular Christian fascist almost government, Russia, right? And the GOP is not really in favor of supporting the Ukrainians against that, right? So I see a kind of strange pattern here that, like, fascist invasion done by, like, against liberal democracy, we don't support liberal democracy, and then invasion and ethnic cleansing by a...
But wait, Japan doesn't want to support Russia. Japan doesn't want to give money to Russia. That would be the equivalent, surely.
You define far-right. You use far-right 4 times.
Sorry, there's multiple people. Wait. Multiple people have asked a question. Can we have one? So first,
Can I respond to the...
Oh, sorry. Do you want to do that question instead?
Okay. It's like a random journalism slur. Like, what the
just a quick response. Yes, so far right would be Russia, for example, a hyper-nationalist, sort of a very traditional...
What's an example? Can you give a definition?
Far right, sure. So the far right is a sort of is characterized, I can give you characteristics. So it's characterized by sort of hyper-nationalism, sort of a very sort of hyper-masculinized culture and state ethos, is sort of looking back to a great future and sort of eulogizing a great future, and generally thinking that the degeneracy from certain sources, certain ethnic groups or...
Is Alex Stein? Alex Stein is far right. Are you saying Alex Stein is far right? Are you saying Alex Stein is far right?
Oh, I mean, everyone here...
Alex Stein is a humble patriot, from what I've heard.
I mean,
100%.
He supports cartel business. He can't be an American chauvinist.
Exactly right, because I have to tip the strippers. I mean, and that's one thing that everybody needs to realize. Idolizing a politician is like thinking the stripper actually likes you. None of these politicians like us. They don't care about us. They're never going to solve our problems, especially Vladimir Zelensky. Or Joe Biden, or even, believe it or not, Donald Trump is not perfect, even though I love the man, and he likes to grab him by the you-know-what, just like I do when I'm at the strip club with the sex trafficking victims. But my point is, I really don't like either of them. I mean, I want to help out Israel, of course, but then also Israel kills 3 of their own hostages that are waving white flags. That makes me kind of feel like maybe we should be shooting less guns at each other, and maybe less innocent people will get shot. So, I mean, I know that sounds crazy, but I'm very anti-war.
Wait. Do you want a peace agreement?
Oh, of course, and I think that's what everybody wants, but I don't understand why. But this is the problem. Is it going to be a 2 states? Is it going to be a 2 states? I can't hear the question. Let me hear it. What's your question?
With who do you want to make peace? Because
this is what they would say that it would be a 2-state solution, but I don't know.
How do you make peace in Ukraine? How do you make peace in Ukraine?
Another 2-state solution. I mean, you guys have the Donbass region, and
you have Russia.
You know what the just agree with Vladimir Zelensky.
You know what the Russian position is?
They want the Donbass region, yeah.
They still insist to this day. They still insist on all of Ukraine. They have no
damn. Ukraine's fake.
No.
Let them have it. You would never take that position for your own country, dog. What a fucking moron. Hey, you're a sovereign country and another country just coming and taking your land and starting war with you? Bro, just let them have it. You would never do that for the United States, and you know you wouldn't, you piece of shit. What a dumbass point of view. If you want to say I don't want to help them because we should be focused here, that's one thing. If you want, but hey, you're being invaded, just let them win? What an idiot.
No. This is what garbage. Okay, listen. Russia's borders were assigned at birth in 1993. They signed a treaty. You will never have the Donbass. Like this idea that Russia can just change its borders, based on what? Like a woke doctor? No, ridiculous. There are 2 states, Ukraine and Russia. They have tightly defined, biologically ordained borders. And what Russia's been doing lately is a ridiculous postmodern attempt at subverting the traditional Ukraine-Russia border with this. I don't know. This what, like cry-bullying? Ridiculous. No, I fully support whatever aid is necessary to return Ukraine and Russia to their biologically ordained status.
Let me say this. If a 9-year-old can biologically change their sex, then I think Russia can biologically change their borders.
These are 2 wildly different conversations. A country and an individual person are 2 different things. Believe it or not, as crazy as that sounds, a country can go to war with another country. I would dare you to try to go to war with any other country as an individual and then try to make that same fucking comparison. Try to go to the International Court of Justice. Try to join the United Nations as an individual fucking person.
supporting Lockheed Martin Inquisition against the 9-year-old.
How do you get to decide which country does get to exist and which one doesn't? Where,
it's simple. You play a video game. Have you ever played a video game before? Or
so you want to live in a world of like
whoever has more resources, more guns. Usually,
you really want to enter a dog-eat-dog world.
So literally, yeah, like he just said, doggy dog, might makes right. I don't care if it's like I'm not going to concern myself with what is good or bad or not. I'm only going to concern myself with, do you have the capacity to defend yourself? In other words, if I come across a 5-year-old child and beat the fuck out of them, they kind of deserved it. Why weren't they just stronger, bro? You get your reps up, bro. What are you talking about? I'm stronger, so I'm obviously correct. Obviously.
We're already in it. We're in it, bud.
Well, what should it be? I understand that we're already in it. There's sex trafficking in the world. That's the way the world is now. I guess we shouldn't try to do anything to fucking stop it, right? Because that's the world. That's the world we live in, bro. We already live in it, bro. Who cares?
Cat ears and sitting
only in it if we're allowed to happen.
Trust me, you've been eaten by the dog already. You already got those cat ears. You've already been eaten. You know it's dog eat dog. I mean, that's how it already is.
So you want to
all need to run away to the beach at this point.
All the agreements, everything else, and just let everyone do whatever they want. Just invade, conflict, and everything. Because you know how much frozen conflict there are.
I don't want them to fight. I'm just saying, it's a futile fight in the Ukraine. We're just giving them money. They need to come to an agreement.
Why is it futile?
Because they're not going to beat Russia in a war. It's going to be like Vietnam or the war.
Vietnam
Wait. I just want to. I'm curious, my own. Who's Vietnam in the Vietnam analogy?
Well, I guess you'd say Russia's America in the Vietnam analogy, but they would just.
Would they be Vietnam in the Vietnam analogy, or
Vietnam won? Can you show me on a map where Vietnam is?
What I'm saying, no, probably not. Honestly, I mean, what do I look like? You probably couldn't either, dude. I'm telling you, you get a map of 50 states. It takes you a couple years.
You can tell because famously America annexed the Donbass portion of Vietnam.
If I had a map of 50 states, I think I could put it together. I took that test in 8th grade, so.
No, I'm back in 73.
I'm just saying, regardless, guys, a modern day war doesn't have winners and losers. I mean, I guess you could say the Taliban beat America, but I guess that's just what losers stay there.
The Taliban beat America, bro.
It's
well, they're just going to fight forever, but it's just, it seems.
As America,
when you think about beat America, like, I hope you're using beat in like a different way, than Europe beat Germany in World War II, or United States beat Japan in World War II. Like the United States surrendered. Well, they pulled out. It was like, you mean they pulled out the war that literally everyone has been saying they should have been pulled out like a decade. Like, yeah, okay, sure, yeah, that's pulling out of a conflict, especially after when you have no real military goals and your population would like for you to get out. I'm lagging hard, bro. Damn. God damn. Look at this lag. Alright, fuck. Jesus Christ. Why am I lagging so much? Holy shit. Maybe I should quit play.
It's right. It's the people that keep dying. It's the Russian soldiers that get conscripted to go die in Ukraine, and it's the Ukrainians that are dying as we continuously fund it because, we have some ego about this vague notion of stability, as if America is this paragon of stability.
Okay, wait. If y'all talk at the same time, I can't hear anything. I know Vaush wanted to talk, I know Kraunt wanted to talk. So and let's write your name down, okay?
No, I just want to say it's always weird to me how what start out as like measured conversations on budgetary allowances for support of Ukraine turn into stuff like this nebulous notion of peace. Everything degrades into talking like an anime villain. Like, yeah, I think if you asked your average Ukrainian whether or not they're more stable today or 4 years ago, they could give you a pretty clear answer. I think the global stability is actually a pretty understandable concept. We are the global market. America benefits massively from the world running like a well-oiled clock. As much as some corporations in America benefit from war, and to be sure they do, I'm not suggesting otherwise, for the most part, we benefit from the world being stable. So does Russia, by the way. It's not like the average Russian citizen is...
That's another thing. It's like, I feel like the problem we have in America is people are not staking enough value on like long-term. It's kind of like, should I go to the gym today and bust out some sets, or should I have a fucking candy bar or 3 candy bars? It might feel better to eat the candy bars in the moment, but the long-term impact of doing some sets is going to be better. You're not going to see it immediately. All you're going to feel is pain and like opportunity cost of I could be doing this other thing. Jesus, this game is lagging hard. Look at this. Oh my goodness. Why is it lagging like this? This is insane. Am I good? It looks like I'm good now. Okay, I don't know what the fuck that was.
doing fantastically right now. Ideally, they would eventually, upgrade to a liberal democracy or, God willing, a socialist one. But that's one step at a time. But in order for us to facilitate that process, we have to get our hands dirty with making difficult decisions when it comes to what we do or don't want to support. The idea of fully abdicating ourselves from global responsibility is a child's fantasy. It's like a kid not wanting to get involved in schoolyard drama. We can't help it.
Yeah, that's the thing, y'all. United. Here's the thing. If you want, there's gonna be certain things that you need to accept, and then you can't have it both ways because it's gonna be like having your cake and eat it too. If you want the value of the dollar to stay strong as it is, which means if you want, I'm tired of paying $5 for a gallon of milk. Okay, understandable. But you understand that you might have to pay $7 or $8 if the world is run by Russia or China. I'm not saying it's good, that is what we're doing. I'm saying with the way the world is, because humans don't want to just focus on the fact that we're all humans and we should be working together, because that's not happening. Someone's going to be in charge. And you, at that point, knowing that somebody is going to be in charge, I don't give a fuck what you individually do or don't like, some country is going to be in charge. You need to determine which of the big superpowers do I want to be in charge. And at that point, you need to, what does a world run by the United States look like? What does a world run by Russia look like? What does a world run by China look like? You need to actually evaluate these and be like, okay, after thinking about it, this is the best decision I could think of for the world. That's how you got to do it. You can't just be like, Jesus Christ, this lag, bro. What the actual fuck? Hold on. I'm just end this whole shit. End this whole fucking game. We're gonna reboot it. Because God fucking damn it.
And we're the biggest country in the world in terms of power. There's no escaping the responsibility that comes with that.
Again, you set up these false dichotomies of where the idea that we shouldn't be continuously funding a proxy war means that America is this 1910s isolationist country nation before the progressive era, right? It's very simple to say you don't have to advocate one extreme over the other. You can very easily say America should be doing everything it can to try and strong arm Ukraine and Russia into peace agreements, and you could be saying the exact same thing about Israel and Hamas or any other conflict in which, for whatever reason, we're funding multiple different sides and we're bleeding money that we shouldn't be spending. And yeah, you say, well, we're all about stability. Well, if we're all about stability, then we should be using that power to bring peace, to get stability.
We are trying
concept that you can have when it benefits you, and then you get to throw away when it isn't.
Okay.
The Ukraine war is not a proxy war. The Ukraine war is not a proxy war. The Ukrainians are going to continue fighting even if you cut aid. It would be nice if you gave aid. It would be the right thing to do. But if you cut it, the Ukrainians will keep fighting, and the Europeans will keep shipping their aid to Ukraine. It is not a proxy war. I don't know why that always has to be
I can't hear the end of. I couldn't hear the end of crowd sentence. Say it one more time.
I don't know why this idea was that it is a proxy war. That somehow Russia is in some way benevolent here. That somehow misunderstood us.
What the actual fuck?
Nobody's saying Russia's benevolent.
Well, it's not a proxy war. It seems like these positions always kind of come adjacent. Because again, it's like you could say this isn't our business or whatever, but then a bunch of other stuff slips out, like vague notion of stability or proxy war. Look, us funding an ally is not crazy. That's not some wild new overextension of state power. Nations have been doing this since before the nation state even existed. The idea of our ally is under attack, we should help them, goes back as far as organized human civilization. I mean, this is pre-language. So
it's not just about alliance. It's not just about alliance. In the last 20 years, Russia has started
disconnected from server. Thank you. It's about time.
All of them in
Russia's a naughty boy.
Disconnect me then.
etc. They have been very aggressive, and their goal is very clearly outlined. They want to turn Europe into a bunch of poker chips, but be divided up into spheres of influence.
So, I'm sorry, we gotta pause this. We don't have much time left, so I want to make sure the people have been waiting to talk. I know MPU has been waiting. I've seen him trying to get in a few times, so I want to make sure MPU gets to talk. And Lecture Fan, I put him on the list, so I gotta give him time to talk. I stick by my commitments, and then we'll kick some people out.
Okay, so the situation in Ukraine is a proxy war. The situation in Israel is a proxy war because when we send our munitions or we send money over there, okay, to achieve an objective, we're letting them do the thing, but we're paying for the thing, okay. And the problem isn't so much that we are sending military hardware. We're actually paying Ukrainian pensions. This is money that the Congress is not the Congress, the Congress administration have sent to Ukraine to actually pay for pensions of government employees and military personnel. So it's not just like there's this clean, pure audit trail. Everybody knows this piece of equipment came in, this piece of equipment was expended. There is a lot of corruption in what's going on in Ukraine, and the people that are saying put a pause on it or put more restriction and control, they just want to understand where everything is going and that it is reasonably accounted for. You can't account for everything. That's not going to happen, right? You're not going to have a complete total accounting.
Who's going to accounting? I might have to cut the stream short because, what the actual fuck is happening? Well, why is this happening? Jesus Christ. Hold on. I guess. Jesus, what? Disconnected again? Why? how I don't understand how I can keep getting disconnected, but the rest of the internet, my phone still has Wi-Fi. The rest of the laptop still has Wi-Fi. It can't be like, does this just not run with OBS? Okay, we're moving. We're moving. Oh, hold on. Yep, there we go again. It's slowing down again. Yep, and there we go. It's just constantly disconnecting. Well, I guess this might have to. Yeah, system error is correct. Yeah, system error is right. Why does it keep disconnecting? Alright, hold on. I want to see something. I'm gonna cut the stream short, and if I just don't understand what is happening. Ooh. Hold on. I don't know if the computer can't take all of this. If it can't run over it. Hold on. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I guess I'll cut the stream short because this is fucking annoying. Yeah, I keep getting disconnected. Yeah, in game. I don't know why you keep disconnecting me over and over and over again. Connection is fine. My phone. What's my phone say? Well, phone still connected to Wi-Fi easily. Yep, loads Wi-Fi, loads internet with the Wi-Fi, super easy. Yep. Can I open up a random window on the internet and it load the shit? Yep. Opened up YouTube, loaded right away. Okay. I'm gonna try this one more again because this shit is fucking annoying. Damn that Trickster. What the fuck? Okay. Let's see if it does some bullshit. We'll see it. We'll see if we're streaming still. I did want to go to Dairy Queen though. Let's see. Okay. It's so far so good. We'll see how long this lasts before it starts to fuck up. It still feels a little slow, but right now. So we're good. We're good. Internet. We're good. Are we okay? Looks like it, y'all. We're still in the game.
Who's paying the bill for Ukrainian? No, who's paying the bill for Ukrainian state employees right now?
The Ukrainian government. Yeah, the Ukrainian government.
The Dutch government opened its budget to the Ukrainian government. Yes, the Dutch is literally paying right now for all the state employees.
When we send billions of dollars of hardware, material, or money over there,
yes, hardware.
The American tax
hardware mostly. But most of the money transfers are done by coming from the EU. So the functioning of Ukrainian state is held by the EU taxpayers who support this, by the way, not the American taxpayers. America mostly sends hardware, which is calculated as money, but it's hardware. Money is sent mostly by the EU.
Right. We're sending.
Wait. Alex, you have to wait because we're already hit the time, and Lecture Fan is sitting there waiting like a very.
What Alex got to say?
No,
I just want to say it is money because the biggest industries in America are Raytheon and Halliburton is our military industrial complex, so we get to give them our old equipment so we can.
Yes, so who runs those? Who runs those companies?
I'm asking.
I think a lot of what you see amongst the isolationists on the panel is the result of Americans being wonderfully secure. We've had total security. We've had a great economy. I love that the Kraut started out this conversation by basically saying that Trump was right, that Europe was never paying for their own defenses enough, and now Europe is having to ramp up. Trump was right. More perfect union brings up a great point about the reason that Ukraine is different from Israel is because Ukraine is corrupt, and the Bidens themselves were involved in corruption in Ukraine, and so that's why there's a whole bunch of questions about sending all of this money there. That's the.
That is a point of view that I haven't really heard much left-leaning people actually argue against. The idea, like, they don't give Trump any credit for saying that, hey, like, we're the bulk of, like, the military force for NATO and our allies. So, like, because we have so much, they probably should be pitching in a little bit more than what... I don't know what the ratios are, but I've heard after Trump brought it to people's attention, or I don't know if people already thought about it and all of that or whatever, but like that is I haven't heard a Democrat or a liberal, left-leaning, progressive, whatever, say anything like, yeah, you know what? No, actually, they're paying not enough, or actually, no, the ratios of what we're paying compared to what they're paying is good. Like, I've never heard that. So just like once someone brings up something, usually, I'm not saying this is correct every time, but usually when someone brings up an issue and no one on the other side even has like the backbone to contest it, it makes me think, oh, here we go. It makes me think that the people are right, because if they were wrong, you jump on everything else that they're wrong about, but when it comes to this, you don't care. Yeah. Here we go with the fucking lag again.
Here Zelensky is actually related to Biden. It's like a long, long con, you know? Not a problem with Netanyahu.
Okay, so there's one thing that I really want to add. The Americans mostly send equipment. They don't send money, they send equipment. And the reason why so many of us in Europe really want the equipment from America to keep going and keep coming.
Second-hand equipment.
And this is, I'm sad that like none of the military YouTubers,
like those are assets.
One of the military YouTubers is not here. One of the biggest surprises of this war is just how much superior American weapons are to Russian weapons. It's insane. Like Adam probably saw the videos himself. One single Bradley taking out an entire column of 12 Russian